Currently over here in Singapore on our business's first ever leadership conference. It's going to be an action-packed week, meeting with some of the biggest fund managers around the world, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, and a lot of other business owners as well whilst we're here throughout the week. But what I wanted to talk about is a lot of Australians move to Singapore, the UAE, and places abroad, generally to get into a lower tax environment, but then also because they might just be earning a larger amount of money getting these roles in these countries for a period of time. And what they generally do is they then become an Australian non-tax resident, and what people think at that point in time is they shouldn't actually invest anything back into Australia because of the non-resident tax rates. However, I'm here to tell you that that's not actually the case, and you should maybe consider differently around this for any non-property related investment, because there are rules called the deemed disposal and deemed acquisition rules, which work in a simple sense whereby you can keep investing back into Australia into managed funds and ETFs, and essentially the gain throughout that period whilst you are overseas as a non-tax resident will essentially be ignored once you recommence your Australian tax residency when you get back into Australia. So let's just use a simple example of saying you bought $100,000 of CBA or Westpac shares before, once you've left Australia, so you're overseas. Let's just say it goes from $100,000 in value to $200,000, and then once you return to Australia 3, 4, 5, 6 years later, whatever it may be, you recommence your Australian tax residency. That gain between $100,000 to $200,000 is essentially ignored, and you are deemed to have acquired those assets once you start your Australian tax residency again. So the cost base on your investments, even though you've been investing overseas, would become $200,000, and then if you were to sell them the next day, you don't actually pay any tax on those shares whatsoever. So the deemed acquisition and deemed disposal rules, if you are going to be leaving Australia, you're best to be aware of these, because you can still invest back into Australia, and essentially your capital gain over that period of time is basically ignored. If you've got any questions around this, guys, please reach out.